Okay, got it?
Yeah, all set.
Okay, good morning everybody, Ciaccio here. Hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. What I'm going to do today is go over 25 things you got to know. Okay, if you learn these here, you swear by these things here, you abide by these guidelines I'm going to share with you today, you have a better opportunity to making money in filing expense, or even Medicare, or even hospital indemnity plans. Anything you do in life, you got to follow a pattern, you got to have a routine. Spoke to an agent last week, and we started talking. He said, Joe, the business is falling off the books. It's not staying on the books. I'm not making enough sales. So the upline that he was working with was telling him, you need to buy more leads. Okay? This is a news flash. Buying more leads is not the answer to making more sales. You have to know how to make a sale. You have to know how to give a presentation. You have to know how to sit, how to look. You got to know all of those things before you buy a bunch of leads. Leads is a commodity in our business, whether it's a digital lead, a Facebook lead, a direct mail lead, a referral lead. You have to know how to sell it. You got to bring out that pain. You got to hit that 12-inch rule, which is between the heart and the brain. You got to know how to say things with voice inflection. When you learn those things and you start making sales, then I recommend you to buy more leads, because now you know how to overcome all the past things I just said. Now, today what I want to go over are things that you have to know to get in this business, stay in this business, and to be successful. Okay? Now, number one, you got to set some goals for yourself. And when I say set goals, is how many sales you're going to make, how many hours a day you're going to work, what days you're going to work, and you need to stand by the goals that you set. If you don't, you're not going to make the amount of money you should make. Here's a good example. I'm going to pick this number out. Let's say you want to do $3,000 a week in annualized production. That's $250 of weekly commission you got to collect. $250, you make a sale for $50, you only got $200 left. You make a sale for $100, then you only got another $100 left before you hit your goal. You must stay on track with the goal. If that makes you have to work Saturday, may have to have you work on a Friday or Saturday or whatever day you take off, it means you have to work the extra time to put into this business here. When I started, you worked daytimes. I maybe worked one Saturday a month every 6 weeks, because back then people were living on their Social Security. Everything was less expensive back then. Okay, so you need to work harder and have a goal. Number two, you must follow up on your cancellations. If you go to somebody's house, you write an application on them, they get approved, they love you, you hug them and kiss them, you shake their hand when they leave. Next month, 2 months later, their business falls off the books. You need to find out what happened. Why did it fall off the books? Was it NSF? Well, if it's NSF and you're not doing the carriers that have Social Security billing, shame on you. Go to the website. We've got 11 carriers that do Social Security billing, which will guarantee, well, I'm going to say a 99% guarantee that your money will be in your checking account for your commission, because their money will be in their account for the carrier to draft it out. If you pick a carrier that does not do Social Security billing, you run a great, huge chance of the initial draft and subsequent drafts coming out of their account. Money's not going to be there, because the folks we deal with live month to month on that paycheck. Now, when somebody buys something from you, they buy from you. They don't buy from the insurance carrier. They trust you. They have a good fuzzy feeling about you. So when something goes wrong, please call them. Years and years ago, I had agents tell me, Joe, I ain't got time to worry about that there. I'm just going to move on. I got to move on. I grabbed this one guy and I wanted to shake him. I said, what is wrong with you? You spent money on the lead, you spent time at the house, now you're constantly wanting to sell to make up for what you lost. And a lot of times people just make mistakes. Back then they didn't have Social Security billing. So what happened is that they took the money out, they forgot, the first or the third fall on a Saturday or Sunday, the money wasn't there. When somebody buys something from you, you've got to let them know that if something was to go wrong, if their finances were to change, if they were to hear something that is less expensive, if another agent happens to come to their house, before they do anything, please consult with you because you are their insurance agent. You need to make that very clear to them. When you leave the house, you got to tell them, you see this little lead I've got here? When you see another one, just throw it in the trash. I'm taking care of you. When something better comes out, I will definitely be in touch with you. So anything like that comes in, just throw it in the trash. I'm your agent. All carriers have leave behinds. Leave behinds are like some little, like 4-color paperwork they have, brochures they have. You need to order them from the carriers. It's free. It costs you absolutely nothing to leave with the clients. They look impressive. They are impressive. It shows the carrier off. And what it does, it makes you look like you're a rock star when you're giving these papers out, because some agents don't even do it. You as an agent must go above and above the call of duty to do things different than your competition does. Another thing is when you need company cards, I recommend you to get company cards with your picture on it. I think it's very valuable in what we do because it's showing that you have credibility of who you are and you're letting them see that you have your picture on your card. Are you asking open-ended questions when you're in the house? When you're in the house visiting with somebody, are you trying to rush? Are you trying to shortcut? Are you trying to skirt tail to get out because you got another appointment? Ask open-ended questions. Get them involved in a conversation to where they feel that they're making the decision. You're leading them down that yellow brick road, yet you want their discussion to come back and forth with you. So they're going to say, yes, Joe, that's the one I want. Because when a client feels that you're coming across with commission breath, you're coming across too hard, they're going to feel it and they're going to back off. Have a conversation within your presentation to get them involved to where they're making the decision with you, even though you're going down the road to point them in the right direction. Are you long-winded when you're in the house? Are you just talking and talking and talking? People want to hear facts. People want to hear stories. I like selling, going to the part where I'm going to give them some statistics. I'm going to find out why they don't have it. I'm going to tell them stories about people who did not have it, what happened with their family. I like telling stories because a story is more interesting than saying 32%, 82%. People want to talk, people want to be spoke to like it's the real deal. Are you using the little yellow delivery notices? Okay, we have them here. Get with Jay or Heather. Or you go online and order them right from there. Little yellow delivery notices to where when you go to houses you can't get a hold of people. What you're going to be able to do is leave a little yellow delivery notice on their door and they'll call you. When they call you, my recommendation is if you're in the area or within 10 or 15 minutes, tell them you're on the phone with somebody. Let me get right back with you. Are you at home? They're going to ask you, what's this about? I don't remember ordering anything. Say, I need to let you go. I'm on the phone with somebody. I'll get right back with you, and go to their house. Are you talking too fast? Are you long-winded? Are you a motor mouth? Are you just talking 197 miles an hour? We all do. When you don't make a sale, now you become more aggressive. So my recommendation is to you guys is to tap those brakes. Kind of slow it down a little bit. Slow it down. The people we deal with are in their 60s and their 70s and some in their 80s. And what happens is that they're all there. They're smart people, yet their brain doesn't go as fast as what ours does. You're a 25-year-old young man, young lady, and you're talking to these people going 100 miles an hour. Slow it down. Talk to them like talk to them like as if they're your grandparents. Make them feel warm that you're there to help them out, not that you're there to be a salesman and sell something to them. Tap those brakes. When you're going over pricing, are you keeping your minimum price, the lowest price you have, $50? Oh, Joe, they said they can't afford that much. Joe, they said they're barely making ends meet. Keep it at $50, guys. Because, hold on a second. Because what happens, you start showing $30, $20 ones, that's the ones they're going to buy. Okay? You show 50, and they say they want to think about it. When they want to think about it, it's usually because they can't afford it. Usually when they say they want to think about it, ask them, I'm here now, why don't we think about it together? What is it about the options I gave you that are making you want to think about it? When you say that, don't talk. Normally, it's going to be the money. Then from there, instead of saying, well, you want one for 30, say, well, what would make you feel more comfortable? What fits in your budget on a monthly basis to where we can start this valuable program to where you got protection to take care of your husband, your wife, your kids? Tell me a number and I'll work with you. They'll talk to you. They'll say, Joe, the most I can afford is $40. I went to a house years and years and years ago. Back then, the minimum was like $35, $40 a month was the smallest price we would show, because that's the way things were back then. Funerals were less, cremations were less. I was at this lady's house, and I had one there for $40. And she says, no, that's just, I can't afford that. I said, well, what would make you feel more comfortable? $35 or $36? She goes, you know what made me feel comfortable? Right at $30 a month. So I said to myself, part of the pie is better than no pie at all. Wrote it for $30, and now it's out there. 40 to 30. That $10 meant a lot to her. So what ends up happening, we try to push these high prices. Every now and then, I recommend you to push them. I recommend you to show them. Yet when they want to think about it, come on down, because I'd rather walk out with something than walk out with nothing. When you're in the house, are you breathing? Are you relaxing? Are you trying just to relax your body? Because what happens is that when we get into a confrontation and the person starts giving you rebuttals and rejections and all that stuff there, what happens, your blood pressure goes up a little bit, nerves go up a little bit, and what ends up happening, you forget all those things that you've been trained on. All the things you know what to say. You tend just to leave your mind, because what happens, you're getting excited, okay? You need to make that sale, you got a car payment. You need to make that sale, you got to buy your daughter a prom dress or something. Kind of just calm your jets down, take a soft step backwards, analyze the situation, and get back on the horse and move forward. Making good eye contact with people. People will trust you more if you have eye contact. Con artists know the same thing. When you're speaking with somebody, have good eye contact with them. If you're sitting next to them, tap their shoulder, tap their thigh. It just gives you a connection with that person. Are you using voice inflection? When you're talking to somebody, are you raising your voice for the important things, or you're lowering your voice when you want to say something to get their attention? That's something you need to learn, and something you need to start practicing. So when you're speaking with somebody and you want to emphasize something, you're going to put a little bit more oomph into those words, or that particular word you want to talk about. When you're going over pricing, are you showing just 3 prices, a high, a medium, a low? Everybody's got their own style on how they want to show pricing. I call them programs. The 10,000, the 15, the 20, I call them all programs. And the pricing, the $32, I call that ideas. I've got some programs for you. I've got the ideas that go along with it. And from there, you're going to pick out the one that works best for you. My thoughts are, I want to try to keep those programs close together. I want to keep those ideas, the pricing, close together. Because you go out and you do one for 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. I got no problem showing a 30,000. I got no problem with the sticker shock. Yet when you go from a 10 to 15,000, depending on the person's age, it can be 30, 40, $45 difference in price. What if you were to do a 10, a 12.5, a 15, a 17.5, a 20, and maybe a 27, $30,000 one? Because when they see that high price, woo, I can't afford that there. Say, I'm just doing my job. I said, but I've got some other ones down here. Which one do you like the best? Because when they see $197, $214, that $50 one looks very, very inexpensive. Are you sending out thank you cards to the people that you write? Send thank you cards. People want to be recognized for what they did. I used to do, when I was on the road all the time, I used to have all the thank you cards already made up. All I had to do is put their first name in there, Mr. Jones. The envelope, everything was already done. Mr. Jones, throw it in the envelope. I already had my actual return sticker on there. I had the stamp on there. All I had to do was fill out their name and address, drop it in the mailbox. They would get it the next day. And what happens is that people feel good because they see that you appreciate what you're doing for them. I also like leaving coffee cups to people. Coffee cups with my name, and on the bottom of the coffee cup, I've got life insurance, health insurance, annuity, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, cancer, whatever you can put on the bottom of that company card. Back then, they used to cost me $1 each. Figure they maybe cost you $1.50 now. Does it cost money? Yes, but it's a cost of doing business. When you give somebody that coffee cup, what ends up happening, if they lose your card, now they got your coffee cup that they'll always be thinking about you. This is my rule on leads. It works most of the time. Sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But if you try to keep this in your mind, it's going to keep you kind of on track of where you are. If you get 10 leads, you make 7 presentations, and you make 3 sales, okay? 3 sales out of 10 leads, you're a 30% closer. You are damn good at what you do. The better you get, you're going to start doing 4 sales, 3.5 sales out of 10. Some agents I know can do 4.5 sales out of 10 because what they're doing is they're seeing more married couples. Now, when you receive a lead, you don't know whether it's a married couple or an individual, but if you run across more married couples, that bottom number is going to rise up with the same amount of numbers on top on the amount of leads you buy. Okay, a couple more. Are you building the value? When you're speaking with somebody and you're going over the program with them, are you telling them how important this program is? Are you telling them that if they do not do something today and something, God forbid, was happen to them next week on the way to the doctor and they were to get in a car accident, boom, and they pass away accidentally, are you letting them know what could happen to their family? Are you telling them that little $50 check every month, a little small check this big here, is much better for you and your family than if something happens to you unexpected? They got to come up with a big check for $12,000, $15,000. That's a lot of money. You've already found out their kids don't make a lot of money. You already found out maybe their kids don't live around them. You already found out they have no money in their savings account. So when you gather all that information, you don't want to scare them, but you got to draw a picture that if they don't do something today with you, they're going to qualify for the best program you have. Not many people can qualify for this program. You're one of the very few that are in such good health that can have this program here. Let them know that what they're getting is the best, and let them know that if they don't get something, what could happen to their family by them not making a decision today. And my thought process is to tell them, you may want one for 15 or 20,000, yet if it's something that's not in your budget, let's get something a little bit smaller. I can come back here in 3 months, 6 months from now, once you paid off that credit card, once you paid that hospital bill off, and I'll be here to take care of you, to get you what you need. But today, the most important thing is to get something small, so in the event something happens, it's better to have your kids have a funeral for $15,000 and you've got one for 10, all they got to worry about is 5, not the whole 15,000. Doesn't that make sense as you're nodding to them? Buzzwords. Woo, this is something that I love. Buzzwords. I used to have buzzwords. You would think that I was some nut. On my dashboard, I used to have 4 or 5 words up there, such as who will pay, what if, why, burden, do you have. I had those words written on my dashboard on little 3x5 cards. And believe it or not, when I was in a home and I was kind of like stumped, I didn't know what to say. They threw me a curveball. They hit me in the head. I could literally focus on my dashboard and say, in the event something was to happen to you next week, who would be burdened with all these expenses? And believe it or not, by seeing those words on there, it's going to start popping in your mind to where you can start using those at a crucial time when you go blank. We all go blank. Okay. Don't prejudge a house. Boy, I've gone to houses before that I thought I would never, ever make a sale. I went to a house. They had a big old pit bull outside, and this dog was about 9 foot high and 4 foot wide. He had teeth just huge. And I'm walking up, and I see this dog come out from under their porch. Luckily, it had a chain on it. The lady says, "Come on in." I said, "Ma'am," I said, "I would love to come on in, but I said, that dog of yours is making me a little bit nervous." Okay? So don't worry about it. He won't do nothing. I said, "Well, for my peace of mind, can you kind of hold him?" She came down the stairs, held the dog. I went upstairs. The dog didn't bother me. I went to that house. I sold the mother a policy that day. Went back, ended up selling her daughter, the daughter's boyfriend, his daughter, her son. Went back there to deliver a policy, and the daughter's boyfriend, I wrote his mother. Okay? I wrote 6 applications out of that house. And by looking at that house, I said in my mind, I'm not going to do nothing. I wasted my money on a lead. No matter what the house looks like, guys, go in there. Go in there with the thought process that you're there to provide the people with a service. Other agents may not have wanted to have gone in there. Okay? Went to another house, walked in, and I always assumed the person that I'm talking to is the person that sent the card in. This lead card had nobody's age on there. Okay? Walked in and I go, "Hello, Miss Jones, how you doing? My name is Joe. Recently you sent this card in. May I show it to you?" She goes, "Oh, no, that's my daughter." So, okay. Calls her daughter out. Her daughter comes out. We go in the kitchen. Believe me when I'm going to tell you. Sit down there, and they've got a table, big old huge table off on the wall here, and they got their kitchen on this side here, the stove, the refrigerator. And when you go to a house, you kind of look around to see what's going on, to get yourself acclimated with the people, okay? So I sat down, and I'm looking over there, and you can't help sometimes but look and say, did I see what I saw? And I'm looking at that over there, and I'm seeing like German roaches. Like, it seemed like millions of them. But I see German roaches. And I'm going, oh my Lord. I said, "Joe, you're here to do a job. You're here to make money. You're here to provide a service. You're here to help these people out. The way they live is their choice. You're here to help them." So I kind of calmed my jets down and I relaxed. Pull out an application. She said, "Yes, Joe, that's the one I want." We started talking, and what I'm going to tell you is the God's honest truth. I said, okay. And back then, there was no e-apps, no iPads or nothing. Bring out the application, I fill it out, had it, and I set it there for her to sign it. There was a German roach right by my paper where it went. The lady went with her pinky, pushed it to the side, and signed that application. And I went, oh my God. Story gets better. She says, "I've got a couple of daughters that I want to get some insurance on." She had 2 beautiful young ladies come out, maybe, I don't know, 14, 15 years old. So she bought one for her and her 2 daughters. Okay? Now, A rookie agent would have gone in there and said, oh my Lord, this is the business we chose. You're going to have beautiful houses. You're going to have houses like the ones I just mentioned, yet they're nice people. They just want to have protection for their family. And that's our job, is to provide them a service to help them out. Some agents don't want to do it. I got no problem doing it because I know we make a great living. Okay, last thing I'm going to tell you. We're already talking about thank you cards. This is what I'm going to emphasize. If you do not do this, you are missing the boat. Okay? Now, when you go to somebody's house and it's just you by yourself, you're the only one in there. You walk in, you make no sale. You get to the door, you can't get in the door. You go in the house, they give you some rebuttals, they give you some rejections, and you can't close the sale. You don't have nobody there to help you. You have nobody there who's going to say, Joe, you should have said this. Joe, you went on a tangent. Joe, you were speaking too fast. Joe, you interrupted the people. I'm going to tell you what I want you guys to do. If you do this here, you're going to be amazed at the things you're doing wrong and the things you do better and the things you're totally screwing up on and not talking about. We all have iPhones. We all have some type of smartphone. Please get your phone, hit the little record button when you're walking up, put it in your top pocket, put it in your pocket wherever, hold it in your hand. Record yourself on what you're saying. Okay, you're not going to use that information to put on the internet or anything. You're using it as a guideline for you to help you make more sales. I promise you, you're going to see that you're interrupting people. You're not listening because all you want to do is talk. You're going to be going off on tangents. They're going to ask you a question. You're not going to know the answer, and the answer you give them is going to be a stupid one. Record yourself, listen to what you sound like, and then ask yourself, would I buy from me? I've done it, guys, for years. And what I've realized is all the things I told you, that I thought I was the best sales guy out there. I thought the leads sucked. It wasn't the leads, it was me. It was me because I wasn't following a pattern. I wasn't crossing my T's and dotting my I's. I did not have a proper presentation lined up to where I can go from this to make a transition to go to here. If I got a stop sign, did I relax myself to where I wasn't nervous, my blood pressure went up, to where I can go to those files and pull that file out and say, this is where I got to answer it? Record yourself, and I promise you, you'll get better. Hope these tips help, guys. Make it a great day. If you need something, give us a call. Heather still has those digital leads for $11 each. Jay's waiting by the phones if you need to sign up for some different carriers. We love you. We appreciate you. Hit them hard. Be safe. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.